How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another nightly review. Today, or tonight, I should say, I will be going over the Golden Knights' 5-2 victory in Game 3 of Round 1 over the Minnesota Wild. And, well, I'm doing it tonight just because of my schedule tomorrow. It's a bit tight. So anyway, let's get into this one. So we're going to go with the not fun part first, and then we're going to go with the fun part second, okay? So Brown was in, and Haig was out. For Holden. I understand why Brown's coming in. Nosek got injured in the last game. But I wasn't so sure about Holden. Well, that is until later in the game. But Nick Holden ended up having a pretty good game. And yeah, so let's go into it. So another thing that I wasn't very psyched about going in was the fourth line started versus the Kaprizov line to start the game. No, never, ever, no, stop, no. By the way, the fourth line had the most time playing against the Kaprizov line, ice time-wise, in the first period, and I feel like that had something to do with the result of the first period. Listen, I don't think the fourth line's bad, but you're putting a guy who hasn't played a National Hockey League game or even AHL game in months starting with guys who are amazing in the defensive zone. Carrier is okay to pretty good. Revo and Brown, it's hard to decide. I don't see Brown a lot in the defensive zone, but yeah. So anyway, early Fleury stopped Brodin, and there was an early scrum. Shockingly, the physicality in this game wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So 1-0 after that, Hartman from Kaprizov and Brodin, because they were out there, I believe, against the third line, which was Waugh, Kolasar, and Tuck. They had a pretty good game, actually, other than that, but they gave Kaprizov way too much space to work, and you can't do that against that line, ever. Then Dumba held Nick Waugh, and the Golden Knights, they had a great chance to tie it up, but no. Smith was the only one to get a chance, and it was a bad power play. It was a bad one. They did nothing. Then Talbot stopped Marshy on a breakaway, but I wouldn't say it was a stop. More, Marshy just shot at his pad. Now, I get it, he had pressure on him, but yeah. Then Johansson got injured after falling into the post. I said Carlson may have tripped him, but upon further replay, Johansson stepped on the puck. Carlson didn't trip him. Johansson stepped on the puck, and he fell, and he hit, I believe it was like his side, like here, into the net, into the post, and he left the game. I don't think he came back. That sucks for the Wild. It's a little bit of a break for the Golden Knights, but again, having one of your centers get injured like that's not good, and even as a biased, clearly biased party in this case, I still see that it sucks to lose a guy like that on your team, and that could be a really costly injury if he misses any time. Then, moving on from that, Fleury would stop Zuccarello, but then after that, Eriksson Ek would score from Foligno and Dumba after way too much time in the offensive zone. The Wild dominated the first period, shooting-wise, not really, but they dominated it. I thought they had been outshot like 20-4, like seriously. It was bad. And that was a horrible play. And guess what happened immediately after? Fleury then stopped Ian Cole because Fleury was left to draw. Fleury got left all alone in the first period. He had to do everything himself. He can't do everything himself every game. Fleury is an incredible goalie. And in my opinion, should win the Vezina this year. I'll understand if it goes to Vasilevsky, but I think Fleury should win it this year. Vasi already has one, okay? And Fleury should get his, and he can retire with no one saying, well, he never won a Vezina, so please. Anyway, after that, Marchessault interfered with Fiala because of course he did, and the Golden Knights, good penalty kill, shockingly. By the way, that was a stupid play by Marshy. Just right to the numbers, like boarding, interference? Dude, you can't make a play like that. You cannot make a play like that. That it was a reckless, dangerous play. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's a fine. I don't know if it's suspendable because it's the playoffs, but I can see a fine. Legitimately. I can see a fine. But the Golden Knights would kill off that penalty. Then it's 3-0. And who else? Eriksson Ek. But it wasn't because it was offside. It was definitely offside. It was very close, but it was offside. And that goal came back. That was the best thing that happened to the Golden Knights up to that point in the game. Then the Golden Knights had been horrible up to that point. And then they're gifted again. Hartman slashed Theodore. And on the power play, the Golden Knights again were bad. And before the end of the period, Fleury would stop Kaprizov. And that's it for the first. The Golden Knights are down to nothing going into the second. Shots are 7-4 for the Wild. I know 7 shots was shocking to me too. But, man, just horrible period. That might have been what, from recollection alone, that might be the worst first period I've ever seen the Golden Knights play in the playoffs. I can't think of one that was worse, but it's up there. It's definitely top 5 worst periods they've ever played in the playoffs. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's get to the fun part. It didn't start fun, though. White Cloud broke up Fiala's breakaway, and Fleury then stopped a big chance from Fiala, who eventually put the puck back on that same play. Then Fleury stopped Kaprizov's tip. That was a very impressive save. Fleury, while not having a .900 save percentage because of the shot total that the Wild put up, still played impressive game and made some impressive saves. After that, Tuck and Stevenson would blow it on a 2-on-1, just utterly disjointed, and they just didn't get anything going. And then 7 minutes into the second period, throughout the whole game, shots or chances were 13-3 for the Wild. That's not a game you want to play. And it wasn't the game that the Golden Knights played the rest of the game, because soon after I wrote that, Stevenson gets a puck back to Mark Stone, who's all alone in the slot, and he puts it right past Cam Talbot, making it 2-1 from Stevenson and McNabb. And that changed the game. And mentioning it now, usually I know I wear the correct jersey for what they were wearing. And I didn't wear my white jersey tonight. I wore this one. I swear, I'm not lying. I wore this one tonight instead of the white jersey. I just wasn't feeling the white jersey. I don't know why. And I felt, hey, let's do the gold jersey. I haven't worn that in a while. Let's wear the gold jersey. So it worked out. After that, the Golden Knights looked like a different team. They looked like an AHL team before that. And then afterwards, the Stanley Cup champion from every single year came in and just swapped with them. I have no idea what happened. Then, the very next shift, the fourth line gets some big chances. Carrier got some big chances. Reeves got a big chance. It was too many for me to write, so I think they got like 3 or 4 shots, quality shots on Talbot there, and they generated a power play. McNabb got tripped by Cole. On that power play, Marchessault would get 2 chances. The rebound on the second chance would go wide. Then Pietrangelo would get a big chance. Carlson and Martinez would get the next chances. There were 7 shots on that power play. Now, the Golden Knights didn't break through. The Golden Knights actually didn't score on the power play in this game, and that's getting a little concerning. But they don't have a good power play, and the Wild have a good penalty kill. So it kind of makes sense. But 7 shots on that power play was very impressive in showing how momentum had changed. And after that power play had ended, on the rebound in front into a basically yawning net, it's Patrick Brown from Nick Holden and William Carrier. Okay, so they tie it, and guess what happens like 2 minutes later? It's Riley Smith from Holden and Carlson. Nick Holden gets not only the primary assist on the game-tying goal, but also the primary assist on what would be the game-winning goal. And he wasn't even a star of the game? What are we doing here? I feel like the Wild announcers or their team picked the stars, considering who were the stars, the actual stars of the game. But Yeah, then with 10 seconds left in the period, well, it wasn't 10 seconds left in the period. The delayed penalty ended at 10 seconds left in the period, but Kaprizov would trip Tuck. Nothing happened in those 10 seconds. Marshy missed the net on a chance, but yeah. So 3-2 after 2, and it's a completely different game. Shots, 18 out of the 19 final shots in the second period went to the Golden Knights. They outshot the shots were 4-4 at one point. And they end the period 22-5. See how momentum changed, and it didn't change that much in the third, shockingly. On that power play, Marshy would get a chance, but again, it wouldn't score. Janmark got robbed by Talbot, or Tuck, depending on what you saw. And then Whitecloud missed the net 2-on-1, or I should say, the next play, Tuck would interfere with Cole in front of the net. Kind of a dumb penalty, but it was a little bit of a weaker call. It should have been a call. Again, it was just a bit of a weaker one considering some of the calls they let go because it's the playoffs. But the Golden Knights got more chances. The Wild got 0 shots on that power play, and the Golden Knights got 2-on-1 opportunities shorthanded. Whitecloud would miss the net the first time, and on the second one, Pietrangelo would hit the net, but it would be stopped by Cam Talbot. After the penalty kill, the Golden Knights had the last 20 scoring chances of the game. That's how you win a game. There you go. Then Tuck got a chance. Fleury would stop Foligno. Hartman would miss on a 2-on-1. Then the Golden Knights would the Minnesota Wild would take a too many men call. I don't know what Foligno was doing with the puck. The team, I guess, thought that he was going to dump it, and he didn't. And so 6 guys were on the ice, and they called him. And pretty funny. I want to find the clip, but Robin Leonard just looks over and starts laughing and pointing at them for taking the too many men. That was pretty funny. Then, so on that power play, Tuck, Martinez, and Theodore would all get good chances. The power play looked pretty good. They just couldn't put it in the net, but they would not score. Then we get to the 5-minute mark. Wild had no shots in the last 7 minutes of play at that point in the game. Then Stone would get a chance. The Wild, Stone would get the next chance of the game, and then a 2-on-1 between Carlson and Marchessault, and Carlson elects to just shoot it. And Carlson gets the goal on 2-on-1, and that makes it 4-2. There's your insurance goal. Right after that, with about 2 minutes left, the Wild pull their goalie. There's a scramble that hits the post, and Pietrangelo saves a goal that's on the goal line with his hand. But yeah, he batted it away. Then Fleury made a sneakily incredible save. He was against the post, and he put his glove behind his back to cover the hole that the puck went through. He caught it. They reviewed it a little bit, but it wasn't a goal. There was no real angle that showed that it was a goal, so obviously, since there's nothing proving it was a goal, it was not a goal. Then the Wild took a timeout after that, and on the empty netter, Stone would get his second of the game to make this one 5-2 and put the game away. Shots in the third period, 14-4 for the Golden Knights. Total shots in the game, 40-16. Pretty good. Then power plays, the Golden Knights were 0 for 5, not pretty good, and the Wild were 0 for 2. And, okay, let's be honest here. I saw some Wild fans on Twitter complaining about how the refs helped the Golden Knights in this game. Really, the refs helped the Golden Knights in this game. Really, they did. So when the Golden Knights were up 3-2 and Tuck took that interference call on Cole, which was kind of a weaker call, the Wild could have scored on it. They could have done anything on it except nothing. They allowed 2-on-1 chances and got no shots. And not only that, but the next penalty, the only other penalty of the game after that was a too many men call, because the Wild had 6 guys on the ice. And then the refs are the reason that the Wild only got 9 shots in the last 2 periods of the game? I don't think so. I mean, I guess the Wild had 3 penalty kills, but you still had, 20 or 34 minutes of 5-on-5? You should get more than 9 shots in 34 minutes of 5-on-5. Come on, the refs did not hand the Golden Knights the game with your power plays and penalty kills. Pietrangelo got destroyed with cross checks in the back. Stevenson got literally tackled, no call. They let some calls go. And the Wild made some egregious penalties that the refs were forced to call. So I'm sorry, but the refs did not hold the Golden, did not really help the Golden. Well, I mean, the refs didn't help the Golden Knights. The Wild taking penalties helped the Golden Knights. They were egregious calls that the refs had to call. See, NHL refs suck, but they will call if it's that egregious. And some of these penalties were that egregious. The Kaprizov trip on Tuck, come on. The Cole trip on McNabb, the Dumba hold on Wah, So, yeah, Marshy's trip, or Marshy's interference on Fiala, that's a really good one. Tuck's interference on Cole, it's still a penalty. Hartman slashing Theodore even. That might have been the weakest call of the game that I thought. But, yeah, anyway. My 3 stars of the game are Nick Holden for his 2 assists. His assists on not only the game-tying goal, but also the game-winning goal. Patrick Brown for getting the game-tying goal in his first game in actual months. He hasn't even been playing in the AHL because he's either been on the taxi squad or been injured. And first star of the game, Mark Stone for his comeback, spurring goal and his dagger to the heart with the empty netter. So that is it for this one, guys. Hopefully Pacioretty's back next game. He was spotted still in Vegas today, so that doesn't give me a lot of hope to see him next game. But anyways, guys, what a way to win your first game in regulation in St. Paul. That is it for this one, guys. If you want to get my thoughts on the game during the game, you can follow me on Twitter at 2_pad. And that is it for this one, guys. I will see you next time.